Alright guys, time to grab it back again today. Hope you're enjoying your day so far, and I know the world's kind of in chaos right now, especially for you folk over in the USA, but let's forget about that for 10 minutes and talk about some Call of Duty esports today. We're going to discuss Warzone. The streamers that have happened, well, over the last few seasons have had decent results in their professional Call of Duty careers, now making way more money on the Warzone side. What does this mean for the CDL? Is it going to be a good thing long term and bring potential viewers into the scene, or is it actually going to detract and Activision's focus is going to move more and more to Warzone over the coming seasons, and competitive play is going to take a back seat? In a similar way to maybe how Call of Duty Mobile is blowing up at the same time, it's going to be difficult to see how exactly they balance that, but thankfully with a franchise league in place, Activision Blizzard's focus does have to be there to some degree at the very least. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Just to mention this as well, Breaking Point GG is doing a giveaway with Battle Weaver. If you can guess the top 5 players from the 2020 top 20 players ranking that we've been doing, and there's an article here which links out exactly which players have been 20 to 6, so you can pretty comfortably guess who are going to be the top 5, but it's the order that matters. And if you get it right, I think there's like one person maybe that's got it right so far, and well, they're going to be in a draw to win this Battle Weaver controller, and then in a few days time there's going to be a more traditional giveaway going on as well. So all the links to that in the description box below if you guys want to check it out. Let's talk about Warzone then. So here we go, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. This is what happens when Warzone hits. So you can see the initial spike in November, October 25th, I think, when Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out, and very quickly, as we've seen the last few seasons here, I mean, you can see the beta, the alpha, stuff like this, that it drops off very quickly indeed, and it gets to a point of pretty much stagnation into March. Then bang, Warzone drops, and immediately it comes up to a massive peak. This as well, this blue line is the number of channels that have actually been, playing the game live on stream, and you can see that this has, if anything, been rising over the last several months, which is pretty incredible. Like, the viewership has been relatively stagnant, maybe slightly dropping, but I mean, at the same time, this viewership, like, mass over here is way greater than what we saw for the actual main game, right? So Warzone obviously absolutely kicking off this year, and that means interesting things for Activision Blizzard. I mean, they're making so much money off this, there's no doubt about that, but also for some of our players that have moved over to play Warzone on like almost a professional level, which is kind of strange, but a number of guys like Rated, Tommy, we're going to look at in a second, entering these tournaments, which effectively are like kill races. We've seen this from way back in the day, like kind of when Fortnite was first kicking off, and people were like, how do we play tournaments on Fortnite? It was kind of like, okay, we'll just have a 2 versus 2 kill race, see who can get the most kills. Honestly, is pretty entertaining. It might not be like peak battle royale or whatever when you're actually playing for the win, but generally is pretty entertaining to watch. And the money flying around here is pretty crazy, right? And it definitely does ask the question for a number of these professional players that if they necessarily didn't have the best 2020 season, they're not exactly sure whether they're going to be getting a spot for 2021, and then expansion teams potentially coming for 2022. Do they take a season to play like professional Warzone? Because it's quite a lot of money to be won here, as we're going to look at in a second. This came out from Rated, and A-Boys were into the top 10. It took a while to get these consistent tourneys. Next week, me and Tommy enter the top 5. So these are the top 10, as you can see right here. Huskers, Aiden, Symphony, Wars, Vicstar, Mutex. Actually, this is a pretty crazy story, right? We talked back in November when, Mutex got kicked from the Dallas Empire because there was some, basically he said something on stream that he shouldn't have said. And then there was all the drama as a result of it when he said, like, they need me. There's no one that has the passion behind search and destroy like me and all this kind of stuff. And it looked at the time like he kind of screwed his career, right? And, he had this opportunity to be this S&D analyst for the Dallas Empire, and it fell through. However, he's actually made himself into something, right? And his stream's been blowing up this year. He's done very, very well on the Warzone side. So fair play to Mutex. Got Super Evan as well, Tommy, Jukies, and Rated. So I mean, Jukies, I don't know exactly how you're meant to pronounce this, but he's like on the Royal Ravens now, and Rated in here as well, who was on the Royal Ravens, and is, I imagine, not going to be playing this next season of Call of Duty, given that you can be making so much money just playing Warzone professionally, I suppose, on the side. And I mean, this is just his earnings from tournaments over the last several months, and it may well ramp up into the future as well, and Tommy's slightly above him as well. And it's really great to see for Rated, actually, because he's had a very difficult time over the course of his career. As he says right here, who do you think has been the most unfortunate pro? This is a nameless tweet from a while ago, but he says, dropped after second at Champs. That's the Splice team in Black Ops 3. All the second places. Fire alarm going off at the first event of World War II after winning a series against TK. Had to replay, lost that, and then they won the event without losing a series. So that was CWL Dallas, I believe, right at the start. Then you've got Red Reserve robbing me of 50k prize money and a league spot to then join Denial. So, you know, Red Reserve, not the best organization. Denial, then they had to go on to Units. And, yeah, Rater's definitely had some difficult teams in his life. And as he says, he's like owed 50k effectively. And he said a couple of times from Red Reserve, from prize money and, you know, salary as well, which he didn't get. But he's almost earned that back this season in terms of, you know, just Warzone victories, which is really cool to see. Then we get Tommy as well, like we won another one. So these guys are absolutely going off, right? Does ask the question, some of these pro players, if they haven't built their stream necessarily, because Rater, when he got dropped from the team earlier this season, definitely did the right thing, right? And we always talk about players trying to build their brands and build their personalities, because especially in a franchise era, you're very valuable to a team if you can potentially bring in sponsorship revenue. And we can say like, look, okay, if you sponsor our team, this guy's got X amount of viewers every month, he's going to be putting this sponsor up on his stream and all this type of stuff. It definitely adds a significant value to the team. So, you know, players, even if you're not necessarily wanting to be a professional player anymore, streaming is obviously the way to go. And a number of players have done that after they got dropped this offseason. I think Enabler said a similar thing about like the fact that he got dropped from the Seattle Surge and it looked like he wasn't coming back. He moved into making content, done some good things on the YouTube side, hit 10k subscribers. And yeah, Tommy's obviously had a YouTube channel for a long time as well. But they're going off all across the park here and are very talented at the game as well. They can do very well on the Warzone side and have won a lot of money doing it. The question really is, how does this evolve into Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War? Because we have these questions about, of course, like Warzone's coming over to the new game, but is it going to be the same engine? What's going on? Is it just going to be the same map for another year? Like, are the guns going to be different, but are the mechanics going to be the same? Some, yeah, very interesting questions. And as Tommy says, this month is about to be the best month I've ever had. I can feel it. That's, of course, at the start of this month in November. So hopefully it is onwards and upwards for Tommy. As Charlie Intel says, Activision employee says there will not be an engine shift for Warzone following the Cold War integration. Yeah, I believe there's been some like different stories either side of this. Some people saying that there is going to be an engine shift. Some people saying no. More than likely, I think maybe it'll be a few months into the game where they do the engine shift. And that's the question, right? Like every year when the new game comes out, are they going to have to change it? Like what if we go back to a jetpack era in a few years time? And then like are we changing it again? Like are we changing the Warzone side? Who really knows? Do they want it to be a separate game? I'm not really sure, but obviously so many people play Warzone and there was a hell of a lot of money to be won. As you can see right here, TP down here in 19th with 29,700 indeed. Nick Merck's here and then, you know, Swag rated as the top 10 that we just looked at a second ago, and maybe they'll even bump these up in future tournaments because there's always something round the corner here, and it's really interesting to see how, you know, some of these old players, Tommy and Rated for example, that had solid professional Call of Duty careers, second at events, won some events from time to time, of course, in some of those European only events back in Infinite Warfare and you know, even earlier than that, because of course Tommy has been around a very long time indeed, but really cool to see them having this success on this side. Interestingly for Tommy, he says, I don't think I've ever been this excited for an announcement regarding my future. Not sure what this is, whether it's like a general manager for a team, because of course he was effectively like, well, he was a substitute, but yeah, he did some coaching actually for the Dallas Empire, and Crim said something pretty interesting that Hastro gave Tommy a hell of a bag after their victory at the World Championship to kind of like say thanks for you know, what he did for this team early season before they could get Rambo Ray. So just a couple of things to finish off the video. Wanted to talk about the S&D scene as well. Edie says, miss when the S&D scene used to play to be the best and strictly passion. Now almost everyone either just cheats or like, yeah, scumbags people. How the times have changed. Simp says, I remember entering best of 3 tournaments knowing I'm in for a 4 to 5 hour long battle. Now it's just 4 team tourneys. And yeah, CDL franchises in the league have a lot of opportunity here, especially if Cold War has a solid S&D meta, and gameplay will never happen until Activision shuts down the 97 places throwing tournaments. Such a kind of interesting point from Easy Mac here. I like there's so many websites now that throw tournaments. It's not just UMG or, you know, MLG like it used to be back in the day. There's all sorts of stuff going on, which means it's pretty much impossible to know which tournament to enter. Like people are playing multiple tournaments at once, and it's a bit of a mess to be honest. And definitely I was just thinking when we looked at Nick Merckx a second ago, of course he's making just an outrageous amount of money streaming for like 60,000 viewers every day on the Warzone side, making some money from prize money as well. But he used to be streaming back in the Black Ops 3 days, right, and was such an influential part of the S&D scene in that game. Really was one of the reasons I got into competitive play actually, was watching Nick Merckx' streams and you know, just like watching competitive S&D on the side, and at the same time then I'd watch the pro scene as well, because you know, competitive play was kind of fun. And you know, it's kind of a shame to see that what was the Black Ops 3 S&D scene, which is probably the peak of it quite frankly, has gone significantly downhill over the last couple of years. Hopefully we can get back to a very entertaining point. And just to finish up the video, because we were talking about Tommy, on this day Jetpack COD history was made. made. So Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare both came out on this day in 2014. Classic, Temp and Hook join Envy. This, of course, is a discussion around, well, Slasher and Temp, of course, are on this Team Envy squad that joined in 2017. Will that be a duo again this season on LA Thieves? That is a question. Also in 2019, Tommy joins the Dallas Empire. So maybe his next announcement is going to be very soon indeed. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.
Yeah, they're like downloading my right.
Oh, no worries.
Don't get sniped. He's on your left. I'll focus your left.
Oh my god, load star.
Right here.
Oh, I see him. Oh my lord, bro. Okay, just have him. Go ahead.
Bed now.